Good day everyone. In this video, I'm going to give you a tips on how to write a simple business plan. A business plan which is enough to guide you in your business. So I reduce all complicated things and just bring down the most important elements. And at the end of the day, you will come up with a very brief but concise business plan. So to begin with, I'm going to show the most important component of this business plan. Now, let's discuss the first element of this business plan. In this element or component, we just need to write the purpose of marketing. Now, let's fill up these items with a brief but concise answer. You may disregard first the explanations, support, and discussions about each item. You notice that we have a very brief but concise answer. But what is important is we take down notes all the necessary spending in marketing. Another important items that we need to take down is our target or target sales. So our target sales could guide us on how much should we earn for a day or for a month. So this will inspire us on doing our business. Now let's discuss the second element. In production plan, we first need to determine what are the steps to do in order to produce a product. If possible, please make sure that you put notes on those items which require additional spending. The second thing that we need to consider is the workplace. The third thing that we need to consider are material inputs and its cost. The fourth thing that we need to consider are tools and equipment. So we come up with the value of all items that we need. But wait, we can't just charge it as expenses in a month. So we need to determine the estimated serviceable life or useful life of our asset so that we can come up with a monthly expenses, and we call it monthly depreciation. And finally, we need to think deeply on what are the other items that we really need in production. Now let's go to the third element. The first thing that we need to consider in organizational plan are personal requirements, their wages, and their function. And even though you don't need to hire a personnel just because you can do it yourself, in this case, we need to write them down in order that we can account the necessary labor expenses that we can incur. The second thing that we need to consider are the preparations, or what are the activities that we need to do before starting our business. And finally, we will take down the expenses that we incur during our preparations. But we can't charge these expenses for 1 month. So we need to know the valuable life. Like, for example, the training of personnel. We can amortize that for 5 years. The license, it will expire for 1 year. We can amortize that for 1 year. And finally, we will discuss the fourth and final elements. This is where we ask how much can we earn and how much cash requirement do we need. In financial plan, it requires information from the three other plans, from marketing, production, and organizational. So therefore, our income statement, cash flow, and balance sheet will refer to the items presented in the first three elements of the business plan. Now, we discuss income statement. Figure from income statement will be coming from the three aspects as shown in the diagram. In income statement, we will first consider the major items, which are the sales and cost of sales. In a typical accounting system, cost of sales includes direct material and direct labor. However, in this example, I only capture the direct material since it is quite difficult to determine the direct labor in a small business like this. Another items that we need to consider are the operating expenses. Please take note to make sure that you can capture all the operating expenses from marketing, production, and organizational aspect. After you take down all the expenses from the three aspects, you summarize all the expenses. You need to combine or add those items with the same title. And after that, you segregate them as to cash or non-cash expenses in order for you to have an easy determinants when you are making your cash flow statement. It doesn't matter how you arrange each cost item, whether alphabetical or from largest to lowest amount, as long as the total amount of expenses are captured. And after you estimate the first month of your operation, it is better that you will provide a projection for 5 months or more. Now you already have income statement projection, and it is enough to determine that your business will be gaining or will be losing. So for a small business like this, you already done the most important part of the business plan. But if you want to determine the other measures, So let's continue to discuss the cash flow projection. In the cash flow projection, the first thing that we need to know is how much money do we need before the start of the operation. So with that, you can determine how much investment you need to put up in your business. After you project your pre-operating cash requirement, you also need to have a cash flow projection for at least 5 months. The main difference between income statement and cash flow is that income statement will guide you on how much income you could earn from the business, while this cash flow will help you determine how much is your available cash at the end of each period. In this example, we notice that sales and cost of sales in both income statement and cash flow are the same. That is because we don't allow credit in our transaction. If we allow credit in our transaction, so there is a difference in a figure of sales from income statement and cash flow. We also notice in this example that the figure of operating expense is different. It is because in the cash flow statement, only the total cost of cash expenses or cash operating expenses are covered. So it excludes the depreciation and amortization, which is recorded in the income statement. Income statement and cash flow projections are enough to guide you in your small business. So that's why I will just show you the format of the third financial report. After all tedious thinking and analysis, we have come up a 4 pages business plan. So it's just easy to make a simple business plan like this.